as New York's Miss Black Trans
2017,
2018. She's determined, motivated, fearless, talks to strangers, and her area specialty is really working in the trans community for healthcare, but also on issues of safety, acceptance, and rights of trans-identified women. Then Nico, we'll see her video, is a self-described fireball. She's a peer educator and mentor. Her focus is on the needs of women living with HIV. I'm sure she'll touch on it when she speaks, but she likes to remind people that HIV care is not just viral load and CD4 count, but mental health, sexual health, and general well-being, and that sex and romance doesn't stop as you get older or when you get diagnosed with HIV. And then when Tyrone joins us, right? Tyrone is also an advocate for those living with HIV. He's a peer educator in the field of drug user health, predominantly with opiate use and crystal meth use in the Black MSM community. And he has the patience of a saint because he used to work for me. So yeah, you'll love him as well. And I'm hoping we can see these, but if not, we could hit the lights in the back. So we're going to sort of show their campaign films. We'll show Leilani's film, let her introduce herself, Nico's film, let her introduce herself, and then we're going to do some questions and answers at the end. All right. Can we hear the volume?
My name is Leilani. I am 33 years old. I am a mom, a daughter, just an all-around woman. In 2006, I was diagnosed HIV positive. I was in a committed relationship and decided to seek elsewhere for things that were missing within my relationship. It took me about a year and some change before I found out that I was positive. I had gotten the wrong results. They gave me the wrong information at the hospital when they gave me my information. Since then, I have sort of lived in the shadows. I am a woman of trans experience. I transitioned about 5.5 years ago. Due to my transition, I have lost people within my life, but for the most part, my family has been very strong and supportive of what I decide to do with my life. My mom has always pushed me to do further. Even if it's something as simple as throwing out the trash, I always got praised for doing something, even the simplest things, which I feel that that's important with instilling just values within not just your circle, but your family, your children. I currently work for a trans-specific organization, which throughout my contacts there and making relationships with others, it gave me the ability to pretty much come out of the shadows. For quite some time, I lived a stealth lifestyle. I didn't want nobody to know my HIV status. I didn't want nobody to know that I was a woman of trans experience. So working for an organization helped me feel a little more support. I didn't feel like I was alone. I didn't feel like I was the only person transitioning late in my life. They gave me a platform, which through that platform I was able to meet a lot of the people part of the HIV Stops With Me campaign, and not just meeting them, but listening to their own stories gave me the courage to want to be able to speak up and tell my truth. So that even if there's somebody out there that is dealing with something, whether it's personal, direct to you, a friend, a family, or even if you're on the train and you hear somebody next to you that just found out they're HIV positive and you talk to them, maybe they can relate to my story and pick up on little things. I'm not expecting everybody to have lived my path in life, but I am one of the people that are standing up to tell you that it does get better. Not only as a woman of trans experience, but a woman that is a woman of color, a woman of trans experience, and a woman that is HIV positive. If you're going through a transition, as well as HIV positive, it gets better. Trust me. Just hold on. Reach out, friends, family, anybody, but reach out. Reach out to me. I'm always willing to talk. If you see me on the street and I'm walking and you have a question, tap me on the shoulder. I might look at you like I don't know who you are, but through conversation, we'll get to know each other.
So did you want to kind of brief?
Yes.
Huh? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Clap.
Absolutely. So did you want to just say a few words about your experience in the campaign, and then we'll watch Nico's videos?
So, I'm a real interactive person. So, how's everybody doing? Is everybody all right? Listen, if I came to this hospital and y'all greeted me like this, I'd run out the door. How's everybody doing?
Yes. There you go.
As you guys see my video, I'm Leilani. I live in the Bronx. I'm born and raised in the Bronx. I've traveled all around the Eastern Caribbean to do my work as a makeup artist and a hairdresser. And recently, my life has taken me in a different path. You know, as a kid, I always grew up wanting to be Miss America. So this has started me on my route. In addition to that, I'm currently in a trans-Pacific relationship. For those of you who don't know, my husband is also of trans experience. So I was assigned male at birth and transitioned to female, and my husband was assigned female at birth and transitioned to male.
And he is also here with his
Yeah, and he's also here. He's Mr. Black Trans New York.
Hello.
Y'all can support him. It's easy to win. But we're a trans-Pacific couple where we're not only business owners, we own our own custom imaging company, but we also speak on different panels, we speak on different boards. We actually represent one of the very few people, not just people, but groups within New York City that aren't very visible. You know, when people transition, they choose to keep their lives very self and very much to themselves, especially if they're entering into a trans-Pacific relationship. So therefore, my husband and I take the opportunity to take the front end and the front line on this. In addition to that, we also work with other agencies where...
You might have to speak up for a second as the lawnmower goes by, sorry.
As the lawnmower goes by.
Thank you. Keeping everything nice.
But we're in the process of growing our family. So we work with other agencies where they're actually creating campaigns for us to sit on to show visibility that as a trans couple, you can create your family. You can build your family, not necessarily through IVF, but you know, through the natural, all-around, old-fashioned route. You know, I'm very proud to say I am a post-op from the waist up and pre-op from the waist down. I'm very happy and content with my life and the way it is. Being HIV positive, she lives with me. It's like, the way I tell everybody, it's like when you're driving on the highway and you want to get in that lane, the carpool lane, but you can't. I can. I got HIV in my passenger seat, but she's my passenger. She's not the driver. I drive this ship. I drive the ship, I drive the car, I drive it all. I got my license and I'm in full control. So with medication and with treatment, I can tell you that I'm undetectable, my T cells are really high, and I'm ready to encounter the next mission of my life.
So a person that's not living with HIV, I would let them know that more than likely they know someone that's living with HIV, and just to be mindful that a person who may be newly diagnosed may be afraid to even come out and share that information with them. I expose you to my smile, my love, so you never have to ever become HIV positive.
Oh, I didn't get your big film. Let me find your big film. I don't know why your old one came. The other one came. I don't know.
Me either.
Hold, please. There you are. Oh, you're right next to me.
They always change it.
Hi, my name is Nico Flowers. I am from Columbia, South Carolina, but I reside in Brooklyn, New York. I am HIV positive. I have been HIV positive since the year of 1990. I became infected with HIV in my college years. It was actually my second year of college. Was dating this guy. It was my first sexual encounter with him. And actually we had sex, of course, like over a period of time or whatever. I went home one weekend when I was in college, ready to pledge Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And when I got home, I was invited by a letter that was in the mailbox from the South Carolina Health Department. In that letter, it stated that I was exposed to HIV. And I thought, exposed to HIV, really? And my thought was that didn't really affect me because I always thought that it affected other people. However, when I went and got tested, and I went back for my test results 2 weeks later, back in 1990, the test results came back positive. I was 19 years old. Of course, I was shocked, afraid, confused, embarrassed. All these sorts of feelings went through my brain, and I wasn't even sure like why this was happening. Years later, I decided to move to New York, and since being in New York, I was able to get into healthcare, which I was not able to actually even get when I was in South Carolina. No medication was available, no doctors were available to like see me. So I felt that if I would have stayed there, I would have died. So I moved to New York, and when I moved to New York, I started taking 32 pills a day. And now today I'm on 1 pill a day, so it's like a very big gap range from being 32 pills a day to 1 pill a day. I feel that basically being a voice for people, for those who are not able to pretty much be that voice. I'm that voice for that silent person. That's the reason why I joined the campaign. As well as giving it a face to say, well, okay, hey, I'm living in my truth. I'm living in my truth as being an HIV positive woman for 26 years. I'm still here. I'm thankful for the trailblazers that are no longer here because I've come a long way. From 32 pills to 1 pill a day, although the medications are very expensive, I'm still very thankful for them because today I have a high T cell count, which happens to be 1,050. And my viral load has been undetectable for years. So treatment does work, and HIV stops with me, has to stop with me because basically, if we all do this together by education and making sure that people get the word out, that if you do become infected, treatment is there available for you to get linkage to care. So make sure that you get linkage to care. You don't want HIV, but if you happen to contract HIV, care is there for you as well as medications. So with that, thank you.
All right, and I'll show you Tyrone's video, so for when he gets here, you'll have already seen it. And then we can get started with our questions. Oh, now Tyrone's next to me. Move it around. I'm not doing that on purpose, I swear.
My name is Tyrone. I'm from Long Island. I'm a gay man that's HIV positive. I became positive through having unprotected sex with other men. When I first was diagnosed, I was actually misdiagnosed 3 times by going to the ER. When I finally was diagnosed with HIV, the hardest part for me was calling my mother to tell her that I was positive. Being that I'm her only son, it was like I thought it would kill her or be extremely difficult for her to deal with. But this was before I really got into a coma. Yeah, this was before I was put into a coma. I called her and told her I was positive. And she just was like, it's all right, we're gonna handle it. After that, because I kept getting worse and worse, my blood counts and everything kept dropping. The doctor said that they wanted to put me in a coma. So at that point, I was put into a coma for 2 weeks. When I woke up, I didn't realize it at first, but when I woke up, I was transferred to a regular room, and I tried to go to the bathroom unknowingly that I couldn't walk. So at that point, the doctor was getting therapy and teaching me how to walk again. And also, I was 98 pounds, so that was like a lot to deal with at the time. Upon like getting released from the hospital after about a month and a half, I went to my aunt's house. I couldn't go back home because I couldn't walk down the stairs. So I went to my aunt's house where she had an elevator in her building, so I was able to use my wheelchair to get in and out. A couple of weeks after I went home, I started receiving therapy from visiting nursing services. They helped me start walking again and helped me take my medicine because I had never been the type of person to take medicine before. So I went from taking 0 meds to taking 13 pills a day. That was a difficult task for me, but I was able to get through that through my support system, which is my mother and my aunt. And move forward. Fast forward to a couple of years later where I met Sheldon from the campaign, and I saw it as a great opportunity to get in touch with myself and my emotions and get to talk to people that were also dealing with the same things I was dealing with. And after maybe this is my second year on the campaign, so now what I'm mostly doing, of course, is to do outreach to other people and let them know, like, it's not the end of the road. We're not dying of HIV or AIDS. We're living with it, and we're doing very well.
Thank you. And Nico, do you want to talk a little bit about why you got in the campaign? And I'm going to switch over, and Wendy's going to do our questions, and you guys are also welcome to ask questions.
I first learned about the campaign before I even joined. One of my coworkers, Jalove Serenio, he's also a spokesmodel. I started seeing these ads, and my passion is always being that voice, like I said in my video, about being the voice, because when I tested positive, I didn't tell nobody for 4 years, and I was 19 years old, and I withheld that secret. And we all know that you are as sick as your secrets. And my thing was, I never want anybody to suffer in silence or feel that they have to go through anything alone. So that's the major reason why I joined the campaign. So when I first started seeing these posters, I was like, well, what is this? You know, because I'm always, trying to dissect stuff, trying to figure out, like, how I can be a part of it, like, how can I get on, how can I join, to be up with it, with the fight in this. So I first learned of it through seeing the posters, and then I hogged Jalove, like, every time I saw him, I was like, Jalove, what's going on, like, campaign, like, you spoke to the people, like, what's going on, how can I get my foot in the door? So my passion has always been, like, education, specifically with women and young girls. Not because I'm a female, but it's just something about women and young girls with me, as far as, like, with my passion, because I can identify. I mean, like, not that I can't identify with a male, but I certainly identify, with being a female and going through certain things that we may all be going through, regardless of color, religion, or whatever we may have as far as, like, differences. But at the end of the day, we're all women. So, yes.
Did you guys have any initial questions while I tap out with Wendy? All right, well, we'll let Wendy start with our panel questions. Yes, it's up there.
Good afternoon, everyone. We wanted to take as part of this part of the presentation to give the panel members to talk about what their experiences were with treatment, because it's about stigma and understanding as providers what patients' perspective is regarding getting into treatment, what treatment is like. So our first question is, and maybe you've answered this in a little bit between your videos and your own discussion, but what was your experience in learning your HIV status? Is our first question.
Okay, so a little like my brother Tyrone, my postpartum brother Tyrone, I was misdiagnosed. I was having an affair while I was married, and I was on vacation in Florida, and the person that I was having an affair with called me hysterically and let me know that his doctor had been looking for him for 2 years and finally found him, and he had found out he was HIV positive. So picture it. I'm in Orlando, Florida, first time there, family vacation, siblings, mom and dad. Yeah, how am I gonna tell them this? I don't even know what's going on. I had to wait a whole week until I got back home to New York. I got tested. I was going to a medical provider in the city who's no longer practicing. The hospital was shut down for other reasons though. But I was misdiagnosed. It took them a year later to get back to me and let me know that I was actually HIV positive. Finding out my status, the reality of it is I don't knock punches. It was like running from a bull all of my life. Because the reality of it is I knew because of my sexual activity that something was gonna eventually happen to me. Finding out that I became HIV positive was sort of like I bit the bullet. It was just like, she's not following me no more. Now I can actually get through the next chapter of my life and straighten myself out. That was like a wake-up call for me. It was just like, all right, stop the shit. Get your shit together. You gotta move forward. So when I went to the doctors, actually I didn't even go to the doctors. They sent me a guy came in the mail to my house and brought me a Metro card and a letter and told me that my doctor hadn't seen me in like a year and a half and wanted to see me. So when I went into the doctor's office, I actually knew what was gonna happen. So I literally sat there and he kind of told me that they accidentally gave me the wrong results and that I was actually HIV positive. So my rebuttal to them was I was currently married at the time. So my rebuttal to him was, I don't know what that big dude outside is gonna do, but you better call security because he's at risk. Because it's been 1.5 years and y'all just getting to me now. I could have converted him. So me finding out I was positive was not so traumatic on the sense of I knew because of my risky activity it was going to eventually happen, but the blow of the way it happened really impacted on the way I see life now and the way I encounter different situations.
For me, I was in college. From high school into college, I was a virgin. I met the guy that I had planned to marry, had a ring, everything. We didn't set a date because, like, when he asked me to marry him, I was like, well, my dad don't even like you. Like, I mean, are you talking about you want to, like, marry me? My dad don't even like you. Be in college, undergrad, you ain't got no money, I ain't got no money. Like, for real? So, like, look, we got to put this off until I get my degree. So, I was, like a virgin. So, I found out